Hello, this is Categorious here, and I'm gonna teach you some basic things. Now I'm gonna start with this picture since it's just a headshot, and since I tend to do things like the old-fashioned way and very slow, this will be perfect because it will be on a timely thing. However, unlike most of my times, where I sped up the process, I'm gonna actually not going to do that. I'm just going to let you see in real time how I do things. So, I was actually requested by somebody else to show them how I do line art and what I recommend. So anyways, let's start things off with, for line art, I used to, I used to do like an old drawing thing where where you basically use like this, either the pen or the ink pen, which will still be pen, as line art, but I discovered something better in terms of that. Oh wait, hold up. And it goes by, instead of making like a new layer, you want to go down one and where it says new line work layer. And this layer is what I recommend. Because it might seem like a little difficult at first, but here's what you do. Now, unlike a generic like paint or the paint layer of line art, where you have to make sure you erase a whole bunch of stuff, but all you have to do here is just pretty much make a line, and well, obviously you use the Control Z as your friend if you keep messing up. But generally what you want to do is you want to find a proper size that you're comfortable with, and once you do that, you just like take it slow. Well, I try to make it slow. Or you could just go fast and just hope you get it. Or what I usually like to do is I want to like to max out to where it's sketch 7. That way, when I do stuff, since my hands tend to be very shaky, it just auto-corrects. Also, sometimes it's best just to do this because sometimes the program won't register your natural hand movement, and therefore you need to adjust accordingly. But yeah. And what's really nice about this line workware is, well, instead of making a mistake and just going back to erase it, you can actually come back and use the editor tool right here. You go and actually just manually edit these. Now, depending on how good you are with working with the traditional layer, you can go to these dots and you can edit things. Sometimes you can delete them too without having to delete the entire line work, because I've seen that where people are like, I really like the rest of the lines, but I had to delete this because the certain line didn't work out. Now for the budget wise for this particular program, it's roughly around like either $50 to plus dollars. It's no Photoshop, but it's like good for what it is. I'll look into more. But yeah, you just want to use it like a normal line worker, and that's another fun thing about this too. Say if you like make a size so overly big, instead of like, crap, I have to redo the whole entire thing again, you can actually use the heighten tool, which basically allows you to adjust the size accordingly to make it where it's the right size with all of the lines. I normally don't do this because I just prefer the natural flow. But yeah, see how it looks like it's the normal part of the lines now? Or like the normal lines? You can also do that. And well, I'm pretty much just going to finish this up. But yeah, that's how I do line work. I actually prefer this any other way, because now that I've gotten the basics and how to do this, the reason why I prefer this line art over, or this way of making line art over any other way, it's because not only it's easier to edit if you get like the ideas on how to do this, like if you're really good with using this, it can really take minutes away from editing that a consistent erasing would do. And you don't have to worry about redrawing the whole entire line because you can just edit what it is. Now another thing about this is, unlike the layer where you use just for the background, or use just a normal layer for the line art and everything else, this is actually a vectorized layer. So which means if you're like quality freakish like I am, you will not lose quality over making your line work. Now I know there's like things like Fire Alpaca that may or may not have this, but I don't really generally know how to use anything else. I might learn to, but I'm just going to tell you now, since I prefer Scythe with drawing, I know how to do this. Let's see. Okay, now let's see. What else I could teach you? Well, that's pretty much all I have to tell you about the line art layer, or how to make line art. So, I'll see you back in like a few seconds, as I'm going to complete the rest of the line art without any delays. Well, that took quite a bit of time. Anyways, I'm back. As you can see, I finished the line art. And yeah, so next thing we're gonna show you, or I'm gonna show you, as I get a drink, hold up. Bottle of water. Anyways, next thing I'm gonna show you is how to shade your stuff. Now you could be thinking it's difficult to like shade and stuff, but for me I have a really special way of just doing this. It's actually more convenient, and most people would consider this lazy, but it's not really. I mean, if you look at like most 3D models, they kind of start off with a bland color. And that's what I pretty much use, is I use like a color and go based on the 3D model way of look when it comes to doing this particular shading technique. But it just basically involves a simple trick of you just putting like anything like from purple to like blue to like basically anything you can use a good shading color. I usually recommend that. Oh crap. Oh wait. I know exactly what I did wrong. Let's just get rid of this for now. Okay, so let me just go and redo everything. So, yeah, it's not that much. You just do this. Then I like to use the blend brush, even though there's like other brushes that are quote unquote more for this type of shading, but realistically I usually use the blend brush because it's just I just like how it just blends things up like an actual paint. Like, this is something I would actually like to do in real life, but yeah, normal physics and stuff don't work like that. But yeah, you just add like multiple layers of gray and things like that. If you have no idea how to do this, it's just like 3D, like the 3D models you see where you have the ability to add lighting and whatnot. You notice that it's either like some form of a purple or a blue. If you haven't been familiarized with 3D program, but then again, I wouldn't blame you because that's extremely hard to do. So yeah, I'm gonna be silent for a bit. I'll put some music in the background for you, and yeah, let's do this. Oh, another thing I should probably point out, unlike the line art, for the shading I really have no idea how to actually properly erase it without just having to restart over, so you do have to be a little bit more careful. As a matter of fact, I always recommend, like, if you can work with a smaller size, and then if things require it, switch to a bigger size. Anyways, I will pretty much just I'll do the rest of this in time-lapse, and I'll go back to the actual picture itself, and we'll start from there.
athlete. He pulled his cock out of his used cunt. Somebody in the house say yeah. If you really like to rock the funky beats, somebody in the house say hell yeah. I like that for the people up top. Check this out. I sure love living inside this fancy computer. Walls. Walls. Walls everywhere. Hello. Computer. Shot. Cool, what's that beat?
Okay, and we're back. Yeah, as you can see, I did like a lot of like pressure highlighting, which wonderful thing about Psy is it detects the pressure sensibility of your tablet. For sure, I'm not sure if anyone else does this, but I know Psy does it, but pretty much you can pretty much make it depending on how light or dark you want something. You can just add pressure to it and it'll just use the pressure sensitivity to how light or dark you want it, but yeah. Now that we're done with this, we could add like another, well, as you can see I'm still technically doing something because I just noticed I needed to shade the teeth, or tint the teeth a bit. As you can see now, we're pretty much done, and we just need some highlights now. What I normally use for highlights is a blue, like, hold up. Well, let's see. Blue like this, back when I used to just, you know, mess with templates. But I've discovered that back from then, a much more convenient way, besides having like a billion pictures of just like colors for each individual character. This is more efficient. Okay. I would recommend like a light color after you do this. Something like, you want to make sure, by the way, all of the colors you're using is very neutral, so they won't like interfere with what you want to, because you know, if you use things like a saturated version of red, it might just take away from the picture. So you want to almost have it like hinting to like a color, but make sure it's neutral. Like, has a hint of gray in it, or a tone of gray. You can achieve this with any of methods, but I just prefer using something that's just a hybrid of gray and a color. But don't really try to, like, you know, be smart about it and decide to mix it with two layers, because that sometimes doesn't work. Alright. Now I have two blues I prefer to go for, because, you know, blues tend to complement the purple a little bit, since they're technically part of the same family. As you can see, what I just did there gives a nice little lightning effect with the eye. It's really good if you just want to do generally have a 3D-ish look to it, I guess. And I'm not really sure. I'm just, yeah, kind of out of it because I'm out of energy. But yeah, is generally how I go about things. It's kind of simple. If you ever learned how to paint as a kid, you just kind of just blend things around and morph it to what you look. There really isn't much to it. But okay. I could actually attempt to draw like this in any other like program if you want. For highlights, we'll mess with those later, but generally you want to aim for like white. Even though other artists are like, you shouldn't use white or gray for anything, just use whatever you feel like. And here's another thing, you pretty much, anything you decide, you don't have to use the exact same colors I use. Instead, you can like make up your own colors. If you were smart, you'd probably just say, oh, I'm just going to stop the video and just color sample from the swap pads, or swaps, or squares. But yeah. Now that I made the eye look nice, I'm going to just go into like either a moment of pause or music again, so you'll just watch me doodle everything. Also, I may or may not put this in time lapse. I should have told you that, because I generally just like to do things in a natural timeline, because, well, it helps people. And you know, generally I'm pretty quick about these things too. So yeah, I'll BRB.
Okay. Low shot. LOL boo 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 boo.
Oh, come wherever I goddamn please.
He pulled his cock out of the abused cunt.
Check this out.
Okay, that looks good enough for me. So, well, you have the basic things now. Remember what I said about it's okay to use white? I'm not kidding. I'm gonna use white right now. Most artists will tell you or discourage, well, most people that try teaching you are the basics of art will tell you that white is not recommended and it's not as artistic as anything else. Don't listen to them. It's just about as artistic as you're using like any other color. Like, matter of fact, technically, white and black are what every other color has. Or, no, how about this? Basically, white is the combination of all the colors, but don't go crazy with it. It's okay to use white. Just don't spam it, because you want to have other colors to help you with other things. I mean, technically you could just make an entire thing just having black and white, but still. What's be the fun in that, huh? There is no fun in that. Yeah, white is generally one of those fun colors though, where it's best to just use it like so. Like, you have such an amazing 3D effect by doing this. Also for those who are concerned about the highlight. Really, I'm pretty sure the highlight would probably be better if I did it on a separate layer. Not really sure. Hold up. Let me just test this around and see if I can't manipulate it. And I can. I'll just have to go for the dark purple again, but I can't. Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of pausing because I just generally like to focus more on my art. That's why I generally don't have like artistic videos as much, because I'm focused on making the thing look nice as well as, you know, showing you how to do stuff, but most of it's just music. Let's see, I just fixed that up with my dark purple and oh. There. Yeah, you can always cheat. Don't worry. Well, that looks good. Let's get going with trying to make it the actual color. Oh, for the side note, if you really don't want to foil with other colors, but you notice that there's a spot in your canvas that looks like it could use some tints, don't be afraid to just lightly use the purple and then go over it with whatever, well, or white, and don't be afraid of just going over it again with the whatever color you use. So, let's see. That looks about good. Let's start with the basic color of the dragon, shall we? So, You notice that it's a mess, and you're like, oh, there's on these unneeded and unnecessary colors. How do I get rid of them? Well, if you haven't been paying attention to the screen just now, you notice that I've already started to answer that question. So you want to use the select tool. That would be this, the wand-like tool, and then you want to proceed to just select the brush, and then just go over anything that is white with it, and you just, well, obviously not the dragon itself because you kind of need that white, but yeah, you generally understand what I mean. And then we just go into this tedious round. Just make sure you like check all your corners, because the white spots do like to hide in corners a lot. Especially narrow corners like the ones with the hair and the ears. And possibly the neck and other possible things that you added to the character. Could even happen down here where the neck or or the picture ends. So that looks about right. Ooh, I forgot that. Even while we're doing like something else, I still have to go back to fix the line art. Line art. Yeah, it will get like a pain in the butt for you. Just a simple fixing shall do, and oh look, now I have more white spots to clear. Okay, that looks about right. Let's go back and enable that. And then I will show you a magic trick. With the power of computers and advanced understanding of how a computer works, I shall make the excessive purple disappear. Are you ready? Abracadabra, alakazam, make this picture clean again. Oh, there was a little bit of delay, but it worked. See? Magical, isn't it? Okay, for those of you that actually are like, how the heck do you do that? I just hit Control X and it just cut out the purple. And that's what the selecting is. Okay. I'm sorry about yawning. Let's just... Oh yeah. A basic thing for layers. I don't know anything else except for this. And I know this makes it where colors can do this. Or they basically override the layer. So that's what that does. And what I like to use is the overlayer. Now, the reason why you're going to need to learn how to do this is simple. Now, if you're drawing like a reference of your own character, you want to go to your character and you want to... Well, for this is traditional, so traditional is a little bit difficult, but nevertheless, you could just... I can already tell that this is supposed to be like a... Let's see, it looks like it's a dark blue, I like to say. A nice dark blue here, and... Siren, maybe? Let's try this. So, we're gonna go to this particular thing, we're gonna put the reference right there. I'm gonna see if this doesn't work. No, oh shit. I have to put this on the overlayer, normal layer. Looks like it might be a bit darker. Or at least on the teal side of things. Okay, let's stop being lazy. Looks like it's a little bit to the blue spectrum. Yeah, that looks about right. Now let's see if the other color looks right. Left a little bit darker. It's a little bit more blue. That looks about the right color. We're gonna use that. Okay, let's get back to the default position. Just clear that. And get rid of that. And now let's proceed to just select rape the picture. Now, what select raping is you basically use the select tool, or aka the magic wand, and then you just select the picture. Then you color it. Do this type of stuff. Color it. So now you basically know what to do. Oh, also the overlayer makes it easy for you. Just fiddle around with the layer types until you get like an understanding. Oh, hold up. Okay. Okay, now I got that settled. Oops, it would probably help if I enabled that. Also, for those of you that have like a hard time with the room thing, you just merge the layers and it should keep its what it has. Except for it takes less layer space, which is the one thing I like to strive for. That looks about right. Okay, sorry for the dead air. Jeez. Okay, so now that we have everything in place, yeah, stretch those arms, stretch those arms. Now that we have everything in place, allow me to show you pretty much what to do with if you find that the character is suddenly too dark because of your edits. Now, let's see. We have actually like several ways to go about it, but I'll just go about it how I normally do with like a dragon-like character. So, you want to go back to the tint of your choice. And then for the hair, you probably want to go with an airbrush for this one. But you want to make sure you have it overlayered. And if you do it just right, you'll get a nice, cool 3D effect here. You may or may not need to adjust the softness accordingly. Okay. And then we have the horns, which is also just a little bit easy. You don't have to actually go highlighting again. Actually, the horns might do better with just the soft airbrush, but yeah, you don't have to go over it again, but I'll show you like a cool little trick with the highlights you can get with just using a pen. Especially with things like this, it's really cool. I guarantee if you like took in with these suggestions with a grain of salt, you'll end up with some cool effects. You probably are already liking this way you're seeing stuff happen right now. Actually, for the eye, I think it's just good. It just needs a little bit of a highlight in the white. Also, yes, with the highlight I'm using, you get like sometimes with the white areas, you get like a little bit of a crystal effect, and that means just ends up looking like multiple colors. And I could see like little places where I can highlight green, maybe. Yeah, it looks good now. Looks good the way it is, I should say. Okay, now that stuff looks done. You can, if you want, to call it quits. Oh, I forgot the teeth. I'll explain as soon as I'm done with the teeth. Most important part is ensure that the dragon has crystal white teeth. There. By the way, you technically could finish this all on Paint Tool Psi. However, I'll show you something here. Now, you can go ahead and do like what I just showed you on the rest of the dragon to finish it up, you know. And give it like the finishing blow. Make it done, just call it quits here. But For those of you that want to, like, know how to do the 3D effect for this, I'm gonna save this and... what's that? I'm not gonna use Manga Studio. What's this? Hold up, let me just fix that. Okay, see, one of the things I like about Sai is it has a export option. Some other programs have this export option too. I found out recently there's actually a few programs that don't have the export option, which I recommend you getting a program that does now. Manga Studio, Fire Alpaca, Photoshop, any of the things with the export options, I'd recommend just exporting it. For Photoshop users, you just probably need to just switch out. Anyways, we want to have this as a Photoshop file. And then we want to exit out of this. Okay, you can see the Skype, blah blah blah. Just exit that. Oh look, my nice little background that you've been seeing so far. Haven't changed it. Haven't yet to find another work of art that would actually be suitable to replace this one. Probably have to go for the same artist, to be honest. Anyways, let's go to Manga Studio. As you can see, I have a lot of Photoshops. The original, the elements, and somewhere around here there's another one, or yeah. Try to organize it. As you can see, it doesn't quite work. But anyways, let's go to Manga Studio. Also, even though people are like, I prefer this over the other one, I wouldn't recommend just, I wouldn't recommend just sticking to one art program, because you're gonna only get your limited use out from that. Instead, what I recommend is using two. Now with this tool, okay, hold up. I need to open this. And maybe this just in case. Not sure if I'm gonna need it. Now, I am going to warn you, Manga Studios does eat up quite a bit of memory, so if you have like a low computer like I do, it may or may not be able to handle it may or may not be able to handle the freaking this, so yeah, just use it with caution. Probably don't do what I'm doing right now and just, streaming while you do this, so. Alright, so reason why I switched to Manga Studios is because there's this cool little tool. I don't know if I gotta see if this is the right one. I only use this like so. Okay, there's this cool little thing. I want to see if this is it. Oh, I wonder why it's not gonna work. I forgot the color sample. The frickin' dog. You want to go back and color sample all of these. Don't do what I did and made a mistake of not, and also be careful. Anyways, let's see if this is the right one. Yep, that looks like it's the right one. Okay. A cool little effect with Manga Studios, if you choose the friction, you can actually make it look like scales when you like have it overlayered / a light tone, and you can just make it look like scales are covering the dragon. Now, to avoid messing up the others, I'm gonna just use the select tool here. I think this is the right one. Let's see if everything, it looks like everything's selected. Just use that, and then you just want to go in. Now, it shouldn't affect the other stuff because the way we made it. It should only affect the dragon skin now. In fact, if you were smart, you'd probably start this as a separate layer, but I'm not that smart today. Yeah, I'm gonna separate this. It's probably a good idea anyway. Okay. Now it is a little different from Manga Studio, but anyways, now this gives us the ability to just craft our scales to however we want. I used to use like Photoshop, not Photoshop, but Psy for this, but I ended up finding out that it's type of scales it sometimes doesn't match, and it's sometimes really difficult to get used to. There used to be like a thing, I don't know what happened to it, but I used to have like a thing by the name of watercolor, and that used to make beautiful oceans and stuff like that. Not exactly sure what happened. I think I actually lost it within the migration to a computer. I once upon a time had another computer different to this computer, but it ended up breaking on me, and so I wasn't able to use it again, and then it caused me to panic, because it's like, crap, I don't actually have money for this. And lo and behold, I now have a few dollars in my pocket. Wasn't thanks to anybody else. So, as you can see now, I'm making kind of a spammy whammy mess. This is good. It doesn't really matter as long as you get the effect. Now, if it is overbearing with the scales, quote unquote, you can always just select the transparent option there from the color sample, and you just go back and it should just, erase all of the excessive scale marks. Just thought I'd show you. Like, you don't really need, like, this is like where shade is, you don't really need that. Tricks here. Hashtag tricks. This also can work if you, like, there's some areas you don't want to have scales in, you just go back and do that. I haven't found all of the effects, like there's like a effect for fur I know I'm still gonna probably have trouble with, but yeah. This is actually how I shaded my character from the washing the dishes, was using this particular method, which I loved so much. But they need is like people dedicated to making brushes exclusively for like either Psy or Manga Studio. Well, mainly Psy, but yeah. As you can see, there's quite a bit of scale spam. We're going to use some scale spam. We're just going to call this scale spam. You can call it whatever you want, but it's just spam for scales. Scale spam. Okay. Ah, frick. You know what I forgot? I forgot to color the ears. Oh well, they can forgive me. It's not perfect. Like, I knew for a fact that... Ooh, is this, like, not selected? I thought I had selected everything. Hold up, let me go back and select this, I guess. We're supposed to select everything! Oh. Nope, I'm being an idiot, that's all. Okay. Being an idiot. That's nice. Actually, I could technically go back to doing this. Add the, Actually, I could do that. I just have to only use Manga Studios for, like, converting it into, like, a layer. But I kind of like Psy's option of having the FLAC option. Or the equivalent of FLAC to a picture layer. Let's see, now we want to try over there. Suddenly it all goes away. It just gave you a nice little scale effect. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and merge this down, so I won't accidentally ruin it. What do I think about this? I think we should try some highlights. You know, have more of the scales being compromised too. So now you know my rich craft in making this. Once again, I keep making the mistake and not having separate layers for things. There's a reason why I do this. As you can see, it's starting to look a lot nicer. It has somewhat of a 3D effect, if you noticed. And I know for a fact that Manga Studios is like $50 at most. Because their people actually care for the artists instead of the money. Like a certain Adobe. Which is one of the reasons I don't really recommend using Photoshop, is because, you know, they only are after like artists that make a lot of money. You know, I'm assuming since you're watching my video, you're pretty new to being an artist. Alright, this is the part where we use white. And we just go on doing this. Is there a way I can increase the stabilization? Nope. Just have to make do what I have. Okay, I'm just in focus mode. Oh boy. Alrighty, now let's see, we got everything looking right. Let's go for color dodge. No, glow dodge. Ooh, that looks very nice. I like that. Alrighty, now that we got that settled, let's just merge everything into one, and presto changeo. You have a 3D looking dragon. Okay, selection, select. Oh, what's also great about manga studios is if you really suck with backgrounds, such as I, they have already some pre-made ones, so let's go for a nice beach. Don't be ashamed, regardless of what people tell you. They perhaps had to do this too. Now, I can draw backgrounds, it's just... yeah, it's really hard for me. There. Another cool thing is you can add some effects, like, say if the beach is like too, for instance, too, daytime-ish, and you want a nighttime beach, you can go over here and do this. Except for having the lightning in the proper way. Well, let's see. Okay, so I think we're gonna have it a little bit to this and see what happens. Now, unlike Paint Tool Style and Photoshop, you have a abundance of programs or abundance of things you can try out. See what tickles your fancy a bit. I kind of like this better. I just need to make the opacity a bit light. And voila. It's beautiful. Looks nighttime-ish. So yeah, this has been a little tutorial from Categoryish. I hope you weren't too bored. And I'll see you next tutorial.